Hello everyone and welcome back to another card making video. I needed 2 new house cards and I recently found a retired Lawn Fawn set Home Sweet Home, so I just knew I wanted to use those. The basic design of this card is based on the many design team examples from back when the set came out, but I updated it a little to a more modern style in card making. This doesn't mean the originals aren't any good, I just wanted to honor them in a more modern way. So let me show you how I did that. Spreek je Nederlands? Er is ondertiteling beschikbaar. First of all, I'm showing you the sets that I used and which images I picked. If you want to see all the supplies I used, check out the blog post I linked in the description to learn more about that. Although the Home Sweet Home set has a branch I could use, I used the more recent A Box Deal set to get those covered. They are a bit newer in style and also they are bigger with bigger leaves and also add some variation because they are in a different size. I started with coloring all the images. I stamped everything with Lawn Fawn jet black ink using my Misty so I can double stamp if needed. I used my Copic markers for this and I placed the cap with the color number on the left of my paper for you to see which color number I use. If you want to skip watching me color, you can skip to the time that pops on the screen now. You can also find a clickable time link in the description. Before I started coloring, I decided on which direction I wanted to go color-wise. Although we're having late summer vibes here in the Netherlands, I felt like going for some fall colors, so I chose brown, mossy greens, red and yellow. I used variations of the colors to tie the card together. Since the dies for the set doesn't have the birds included, I cut those with my scan and cut before coloring. My crafty friend Mona shared the trick to use some purple tape to hold your images down more easily while working on the coloring. After coloring, I like to go over the inner lines with a black fine liner to bring back some details. Next is adding highlights with a white gel pen. I die cut the images off screen. I use the biggest die from the large stitched rectangle stackables to cut a patterned paper that will act like a small border around my scene. The paper is from the Into the Woods Remix 6x6 pack. I use the biggest die from the outside in stitched rectangle stackables to cut a piece of watercolor paper for my background. I place the watercolor paper rectangle on my glass work surface, and with the use of the cloudy stencil and Distress Oxide in the color Antique Linen, I'm going to blend the cloudy sky. I love to use a blending brush so I have a little more control. Also, the brushes take a little less ink, so I won't blend on too much at once. To blend on the clouds evenly, I like to add the ink to the stencil first and then blend it out onto the paper. I rotate my stencil and sometimes overlap the clouds a bit to add some variation in the sky. Although cloudy backgrounds have been around for a while, a different color one like this really makes it into a more modern card compared to the original ones. Also, stitch details on the rectangles weren't a big thing back then either. When I'm done blending, I like to blend some ink on the top, bottom and around the edge to really finish off the panel. To add something extra to the background, I thin down a little bit of this water-based metallic gold paint, and off screen I splatter it onto my background. This is also something that makes it a little more now. I can now go ahead and set the first step of making the scene. Although the set contains a dashed line to stamp on your scene to hang the houses from, I wanted to draw some solid lines myself. So I'm placing some images to know where I need to put those lines. When I'm happy with the composition, I move down the houses a little and tape them down. I also moved the branches up slightly, and now I can draw a straight line from the house up to the branch. Because I moved them both out of the way a little, I know for sure there will be a complete line from branch to house. I glue the branches down so those are in the right place. I already prepared a top fold craft paper card base, and I'm going to adhere the pattern paper rectangle on there first. When that's done, I'm using tin foam tape to add the cloudy background to the card. This will add some depth to the card as well. Now I'm adding all the houses and the sentiment banner using some tin foam tape too. The birds are also going to be adhered with tin foam tape. I stick them all down except for one, because he will get a leaf behind him later on, so he has to wait a little. The leaves are all adhered down with some liquid glue. I only add a little glue on a part of the leaf, so it will have the ability to loosely hang over the birdhouses too. When everything, including the last bird, is adhered down, I'm finished with my card. I think the card turned out beautifully. I love how happy it feels, but still has a nice fall feel to it. Like I said at the beginning, it's based on cards that were made when the stamp set got released. I took those ideas because I love them, but adjusted some things to make it a little more contemporary. This is also how you can turn a card you see somewhere into something from your own hand. I hope I inspired you with my video and that you feel inspired to get crafty as well. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell to receive a notification when a new video is up. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!